So J.C. Wagner. So why did we pick this one, Alex? What do you think?
Well, J.C. Wagner is, he holds a special place in my heart because he's sort of one of the first, what I would call real magicians that I saw any sort of instruction from when I was first learning magic. And it made me feel like I was stepping into a bigger world within magic. First of all, he had techniques that were practical that I could use, that I could apply to many different card effects. And in the beginning, I was, you guys have seen me do a lot of coin magic. That was an outgrowth of, I loved coin magic, and card tricks were sort of a thing I also did. But when I sort of went head first into card magic, the technology that JC had allowed me to get in and be able to do a lot of tricks. Plus, he's just got a lot of great tricks that are accessible, because for me, JC wasn't like a guy who was like a showman, where he had like an act. It was a guy who just did really great magic that was really casual behind a bar, but held power because he had great magic. And for me, it was that being able to do card magic that was strong, tried and true. And, to what his book's title is, I mean, I think it's really true. It's commercial magic. It's just magic that connects with people. And, for me, it was just in the beginning of doing magic, it was a way in for me to card magic.
Sorry, go ahead.
Can you hear me, buddy?
Yep.
All right. Okay. So I think we learned the word commercial card magic from that book.
Right.
Like, big important word. When people describe practical magic that you could do in the real world for real people, that's the word commercial. That's what they said. And for at least as far as I know, that word really came into popular usage through that book. I'm sure Newell, if he's here, would tell us how it really is. But that was always my sense. I mean, the commercial magic of J.C. Wagner. So much good stuff in there. I sort of feel like I want to talk about it, but he's probably going to do all that stuff, isn't he, Alex?
Yeah, you're going to see some really good examples of some of really what I think are the best of what's in that book and what it has to offer. But by all means, this just scratches the surface. If this stuff turns you on, you need that book. And it's, an easier book to get as far as magic books go. So, yeah, I highly recommend all this material. I think it's all great worker stuff.
You know how there's like all these books that come out in magic every month?
Yeah.
I would get this one instead. Like if you had to choose on any random month, any random book. Now, today may be a slight exception to that. If the Paper Engine comes out, I'm conflicted on that topic. But generally speaking, I would say get this book.
And it's pretty cheap and easy to get nowadays just as a PDF. So, the extra money that you're saving on getting the PDF, print that thing out on paper and you can highlight it and pretend it's a book. You know what I mean? It's an easy way to go about getting that information.
And Ron's right. He was a fantastic, nice, sweet guy. He was so kind and cool to all of us. Just absolutely wonderful.
Absolutely. One of the greatest. I hold him in the highest regard. I think he's one of the greatest card magicians ever.
Yeah, and the stuff is so good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is so good.
Shall we check it out?
Yeah, let's do this. Let's do it. It's exciting.
All right. Can you see that?
Oh, the old days. This is healthy JC.
J.C. Wagner. You guys ever seen me before? Well, how you know it's me? No, I'm just kidding. No, really. Would you like to see a couple of tricks? Yeah. Lucille! She's downstairs shaving. She'll be up in a second. When she shows up, let me tell you, honest, it's the only woman I know who's got braided armpits. But anyway, changing her blade into Black & Decker. Let me show you a couple of tricks here. This is my Jewish pad, a flat-knob babushka from a shrunken head. They wear them in the country like this. If you're Jewish, you know what I mean. If not, we have some jewelry in the back room. Okay, anyway.
Classic.
I'm gonna do a couple of card tricks for you, okay? All right, everybody likes card tricks, right? Good, I'll do about 10 of them.
Pause.
No, I'm just kidding. Just before we...
Do you remember that the alternate title was always the commercial anti-Semitism of J.C. Wagner?
The casual anti-Semitism.
Just kidding. I loved the man. Loved it. But how can't you like a little casual commercial anti-Semitism with your magic? I actually once worked on a book called Anti-Symmetrics, based on the work of Kalanag and other famous magicians of the era. Too much? Too soon.
Kalanag was the Nazi magician, am I right?
He was, in fact, the high-ranking SS keeper of the Nazi gold.
He's the Nazi magician.
Owner of an awful lot of people's magic props that they didn't need any longer.
They
Yes,
did.
Adam?
I was gonna say we should actually do a show on Kalanag. It's quite a wild story.
Yeah, we should definitely do that, right?
Remember for a time, I proposed the idea of the Kalanag Award, right? I was a very serious artist at the time in my mind, you know, and so I said, this is for atrocities against humanity committed within the world of magic. Very careful that people understand I don't mean atrocities against magic, which is a commonplace thing and not worthy of the award. We're talking about atrocities against
Magicians
humanity.
who committed atrocities.
Like legit atrocities, not just like a bad oil and water.
How many of you guys in chat do not know the story of Kalanag? Put a 1 in chat if you don't know the story of Kalanag.
So off topic, give them a briefie.
I'm gonna save it. Let's save it for the end, okay?
Let's save it for some time when things are really feeling up.
Yeah, that's right. It's a real mood killer. Okay, shall we continue with JC Wagner?
Yeah, he makes me smile.
Jawohl.
We begin. I got to tell you, the cards are marked. See, they're marked on the backs and the faces so we can tell the faces from the backs. It's a curious phenomenon. I'm still working on it. All right, what's your first name, dear?
Virginia.
That's correct. Now, Virginia, can you tell one from the other okay?
Yes.
What's the other? Well, never mind. Don't feel bad. We had a lady come in the bar the other night. We asked her to name a card. I swear to God, she said that was Fred, Ralph, George, Harry. She's pointing to all the queens. She said, get the hell out of here, lady. Come on. Virginia, do me a favor. Reach in, take out a card, show it to your left, show it to your right. Let them all see what it is. I'll keep my back turned because I've seen this one 1,000 times. But show it around, Virginia. Everybody got it? You hold it up a little higher. I can see it real good in the mirror here. No, I'm just kidding. We'll set it back in the pack here.
Okay.
Okay, now you won't forget your card, right?
No.
All right, I'm going to give them a couple of cuts and a shuffle. I say shuffle because I can't say shuffle, but it has nothing to do with the trick here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, real good. Now, sometimes with the shuffles and the cuts, I get lucky by bringing the card to the top of the pack. Virginia, I want to show you it's not on the top, and of course it's not on the bottom because that would be rather obvious. So we give them a cut like this. You press the button on the ace of clubs. And by pressing the button on the ace of clubs, it turns the card you selected, Virginia, face down right over here. I think I got you the 5 of hearts. Is that the one? Well, don't get mad. Ace of clubs, ace of hearts. What was the card you picked, Virginia?
The 5 of clubs.
Was it really?
Yeah.
You won't get mad if I show you where it's at.
I'd love for
Well, it's the one I keep underneath the drink over here, see?
Dynamite!
Exactly what you
Seriously,
All right.
That's
That-
my opener.
that's my first palming trick.
Yeah, that's the opener, right?
Still, I love that trick. We should teach that in our favorite trick sometime.
I love it. It's one of my favorite ones too. How many? Put a 1 in chat if you saw that. If you saw that load. If you saw him do it, or
What are you saying, load? I felt like the card just appeared under the glass.
it
You mean
did.
the glass is in there? You mean the card isn't under the glass always?
Yeah, that's what I say.
I was just curious how many.
I'll
people
ask
did it.
another question. Of those folks that put in a 1, how many of you knew the method before you saw him do it?
And we know Ron Porter knew the method before. We know it.
Doesn't count.
Yeah.
We know it was
All right.
certitude.
That leaves a lot of people who that completely flew by. Shall we? This is a great learning experience. Let's just rewind it just a bit and watch it again. Okay.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's roll back the tape
Roll back the
and
tape.
watch that whole third down again.
Now keep your eye keep your eye on the glass and try to, if you can, and check out how brilliant this is. Check out how good this dude is.
Okay.
Okay, now you won't forget your card, right?
No.
All right, I'm going to give them a couple of cuts and a shuffle. I say shuffle because I can't say shuffle, but it has nothing to do with the trick here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, real good. Now, sometimes with the shuffles and the cuts, I get lucky by bringing the card to the top of the pack. Virginia, I want to show you it's not on the top, and of course it's not on the bottom because that would be rather obvious. So we give them a cut like this. You press the button on the ace of clubs. And by pressing the button on the ace of clubs, it turns the card you selected, Virginia, face down right over here. I think I got you the 5 of hearts. Is that the one? Well, don't get mad. Ace of clubs, ace of hearts. What was the card you picked? Well, it's the one I keep underneath the drink over here, see?
Boom and boom. How many people caught it that time, huh? Put a 1 in. Let us know.
What a country.
Is that good or what, huh? Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Now, honestly, if it flew by you the second time, put a 2 in chat so we know. If it just flew by you the second time. Okay, good. You guys were really watching close.
Nobody will fess up.
Can I just a bit personal reality on this trick? You know,
Mhm.
the thing about card under glass is you're supposed to do it multiple times. It's really like an effective repetition, what they would say. Like it gets better and better because it's like, oh, it happened again. I was watching. I thought it was done, but then it was back. You know, this kind of thing. But I used to just do that base. I used to just do that one shot of JC Wagner's because it was just so good. I would just throw it in. You know, it's just wonderful.
Me
It's
too.
the kind of thing you can just throw in. I mean, once you get used to the actual mechanics of just loading with one hand while slightly misdirection, you can put it under a phone, under anything that's laying there, under the spectator's phone. It's a really, really great. You're right. We should teach it in a finer points or maybe a OFT or something like that.
Yeah,
I would love to. I
Yeah.
mean, I would love to, or you can do it. You know, reselection, whatever all the tricks.
All of them. All right, here we go.
You see, this way we know exactly what you pick before you pick it. Sir. All right. Oh, thank you, thank you. Well, I amaze myself. I really do, honest to God. Now, you guys have heard of ESP, mind over matter. So with my mind, it really doesn't matter. What we'll attempt to do here, Virginia, can you see the faces of those cards?
Yes.
Good. Get one in your mind. All
I
right?
can't see the faces. I can
Well,
see
just
the
look at a
numbers.
card. Just look at a card.
Okay.
You got one?
Yeah.
All right, within 2 questions, I'm going to get the color of the card you're now thinking of. Just to see, I'm not as good as the other guys, you know, really. Okay, was it a cherry-colored card?
Yes.
Yeah, real good. Was it a diamond?
Yes.
Didn't that scare the hell out of you? Me too.
No.
Oh, it doesn't? No, okay. Well, I've got 13 diamonds to pick, so would you name the card you selected?
10 of diamonds.
The 10 of diamonds? You didn't change your mind.
No.
If that turns out to be the 10 of diamonds, would you think that's a pretty good trick?
I think it's darn good too.
So would I. Nobody picks the 10 of diamonds, but she did. Well, I'm glad she did because that's what I got. Okay.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What did Lou just say? I think this is important. Styling humor so much like Doc Eason.
Chicken before the egg kind of thing, right?
It's a tricky thing, that idea. That, I mean, I admit it seems a lot like Doc Eason, but you gotta, you know, you gotta like expand all that stuff into like time, and it starts to look. I'm not sure. I think those guys, to be truthful, like how many times have I heard Bob Sheets use that exact line?
And that's where it really comes from. Bob he was bros with JC because they were both juniors at the Castle, right? They were like at the edge of being juniors, and they were hanging out doing magic in LA, and JC had a bunch of magic that he could do in a formal type setting, and Bob was like already doing some bar like magic. Or they were juniors, and then later they reconnected in life. That's what it is, sorry. And later in life, Bob was doing bar magic, and he's like, you can do it too, JC. And JC's like, what do you mean? He's like, look, man, come and hang out with me at the bar, and I'll show you. That's the same thing that happened with Doc. Come and hang out with me, and I'll show you. And the next thing you know, they're like,
Well, wasn't it Sheets? I think Sheets was first at the tower, and then Doc showed up.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Is
Yeah.
Sheets, he's really the germ of all of this stuff. He's
Yeah.
one, you know, he's like a superhero. He's been there and done that, and he
Patience
got it from Heba Haba Al, right? I mean, he got the original germ from Heba Haba. So he was in the Chicago bar scene and learning how to do that from that master, and then he went off and did his own thing.
Do you ever wish, like, when I hear about like the Chicago scene and all these different, don't you wish that you could go back in time? It's like it seems like there's a lot of magic now, but that seems like the golden era, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely a different scene. I'm happy with where I'm at. I like my station in life. I'm happy to hear the stories about it because I think, you know, it seems
It's
like
probably a lot harder than it sounds.
a lot tougher scene than it is nowadays. You know, just
Well, it's
to put it
romance.
around.
Yeah.
It's-
We romance it.
You got it.
We romance the hell out of it.
I do wish I could go back to Mullica, though. I wish I could go back and just sit with Mullica, see him every night for about a month straight and study with the guy, you know?
Yeah.
People say to me like, "Hey, why aren't you a bar magician? Why don't you do bar magic?" And I'm like, because people think you just do the tricks, but actually you still have to do all the bartending.
That's right.
Too, you know?
I did get to spend a fair amount of time hanging with Eric Mead in the Tower Bar,
Yeah.
and it was really very helpful. Actually, that's one of those things that I got to do that made an effect later. Like there was a time when I went, oh, I learned how to do this from Eric. But the atmosphere of it is incredible, you know? What is it like, guys? The Forks? When you think about the places, right?
Yeah.
You think about Forks.
Yep.
Right? Where else?
Chicago Lounge, Julian's.
Chicago Lounge, Shulian's. You're not thinking of the New York Lounge. Chicago Lounge. You're thinking of Mullica's. Brook Farm, Inn of Magic.
Tomfoolery, the Brook Farm. Yeah, Brook Farm.
Right.
Tomfoolery.
Right.
The Tower.
Aaron,
There
I
used
have
to
a
be a place
question.
called the Magic Castle that would have shows in LA. Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you, Aaron, like, so being that you have worked both the bar at the Magic Castle and you have worked there at the Tower Bar. So what's the biggest difference between those two audiences?
Well, that's a tough one. I would say the bar at the Magic Castle is a Magic Castle audience, which is a really good audience from a wide group of people. When you're in Snowmass, which is where the Tower Bar was, which is, Aspen area, you know what I mean? It's like, it's the other village, right? 5 miles away. When you're in Snowmass, you're really in a ski village. You're in and so it's very, very, it's more resort, super resort vacation energy than it is out for Saturday night in LA energy. But in terms of people who are excited about magic, in terms for people who came to see Doc and Eric, like the best magicians in the world, they just know it. They feel it, that they're hanging with, like, they know that they've got it good in there. And it's real, real spacious. And also the other thing is you could work a couple hours. Like I would definitely do 2-hour-long sets at the Castle Bar. But people would come in the tower and those guys would work good, epic jam shows. Those guys, Eric would work 35, and I never seen anything like this. I was a kid. Eric worked 30, 45 minutes of just working his way into it before he'd start getting into the thick stuff. And so it was really, and there'd be plenty of breaks, plenty of drink pouring, plenty of letting it build and grow. So no business had to stop. So you really just get these epic, to me, and I used to say this to Eric, and he used to find this to be a good compliment, and he hoped accurate. I always felt he was definitely the Grateful Dead widespread panic of live magic shows. It really felt like that, whereas John Stetson was the Bruce Springsteen of magic shows, with his 4-hour mentalism.
I met a guy that was a real big fan of magic that was at one of the shows that I did, and I ended up working with the guy, but he was like a super fan of going to the tower, and he was trying to at a certain point open his own version of the tower, because to him it was like a religious experience, right? Like he went to this thing and like he's like, I don't do magic, but I saw that and I saw all the connections with all the people, and I realized it's like one of the greatest businesses ever because everyone's in there, they're not leaving, they want to stay all night and be there and be in the magic, and I love it. And it was like infectious hanging out with this guy and hearing his tales of being in the tower and what it was really like for him as just a guy who loves magic. It was really, really cool to hear like the other side of that, to know that it really connects in the way you would hope it would. So cool.
And it really did. I mean, I really felt like the people there were open to it, and it was just about as transformative a vibe as you could get at a magic show in the United States I've ever seen. It felt more like a Tamarisian type vibe with like regular people in the United States.
Right.
Mead's got that like I hung out with Mead a few times when I was up around that area. Saw him do a little magic for people, and it's really cool to see how that exact direct that direct style, that jazz like performing style was sort of bred there, really just honed there. Like the people that work there learned that specific kind of performing. I guess it's called commercial magic.
Well, no, I mean, I don't know. I feel like
it's like bar magic, right? Because the bar, being in a bar, it's not just come in and I buy a couple of drinks and now there's a show. It's a whole business that's being run, and you want to keep them drinking and rolling and keep them going through the night, right? So that you can do magic all night.
It's really a party bar. In the same way you'd say the Grateful Dead is dance music. It's meant to be real fun. Like real fun. You would go do it instead of a fun activity if you weren't the kind of person that considers yourself a person to love going out to a bar all night. Do you know what I mean? Now, Mullica did the whole thing and turned him over, I think, in like an hour.
That's right. For him, it was like a showroom. Like he had that thing dialed in where it was like a business where they had ushers come in. They had a drink menu. Get your 2 drinks. You're ordering one now. What's your second one going to be? He comes out. He does the hour-long show. Everyone pays their tab, and they turn the room. And that's definitely not the tower.
if Tom were alive, and of all, I mean, there's so many things I would love to talk to Tom Mullica about. So many things. But if we really had too much time and we could get around to things that are less interesting actually than the stuff I'd really like to talk to Tom about, I would want to ask him if he had to do it over again, would he have tried to do the other model where you keep the people there and you have them staying and drinking and partying, or if I'm sure he did what he did for the best reason he could. You know, I'm sure it was the way he liked to work. And
it's funny that you mentioned that because he tried to do it again in Vegas before he went into the Red Skelton arena. He basically tried to make it a pool hall, and he called it the Tompoolery, right? And he was trying to have it so that he would come out. He was the ambassador. He got real good at playing pool, and he had really high-end tables, and he would come out and play pool with folks, and then he would take over a pool table and get people to come around, and he would use the pool table as a giant close-up table, and he would just do magic and, you know, load out of the pockets, and, you know, he had a whole thing going on, but it didn't take off. It was not meant to be. But he was trying to, I think, get more of what you're talking about, where it was like it's a party and he's in with the people and he's at the party with the people, as opposed to it being like, here's a show and I'm the star. You know what I mean?
Let's watch a little more magic. What do you think?
Let's do that.
Let's do it. J.C. Wagner.
All right. Boy, I got lucky with that one, I'll tell you. Honest to God. All right. Son of a gun. Well, I tell you what, knowing as well as I do now, I'm just kidding, Virginia. I love girls that wear glasses. You walk up to them and go, oh, they can't see a damn thing. Honest to God. Virginia, I tell you what I like you to do here is, here, you just take the cards, all right? Okay. Yeah, you just take all the cards. I want you just to run through the cards and look at any card that you wish. Okay? In other words, mentally select any one you wish.
Okay.
Okay, dope?
Do I take it out?
No, don't take it out. No, just run through them and look at one.
Okay, look.
Oh, you already did?
Yeah,
Boy, she's fast. All right, I'll tell you what I want you to do here. I'm going to lay one card on it. Was it a red card?
No.
Oh, it must have been a black one. Okay. Yeah, she's tough, I'll tell you. Was it a club?
No.
Okay, must have been a spade. See, it's a process of elimination, you see. Really.
Okay.
For the first time, what'd you name the cards you selected?
Ace spades.
The what?
Ace of spades.
Ace of spades? Wrong, take off your clothes. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding, really. The ace of spades,
He
which I
wasn't
think that's a
gonna.
pretty good trick. I mean, I had one chance out of 52. Let's double check and see. Yeah, threes are wild. So are sixes. You said ace of spades?
Yes.
Would you hate me if I showed you where it's at again? It's underneath the ashtray over there. See, that way we know exactly what you pick before you pick it.
that was such a good example of how you can work card magic. You know, we get really uptight about getting stuff wrong, missing. You just saw just a beautiful case study in how if you play it just cool, you can miss left and right and sideways, regardless of what was happening in that trick. The tactic JC used a lot with his estimation and mental force.
That whole thing relies on the fact that it could go south at any moment, and he has a way to get out of it. That's what that whole thing that he's doing there. It's like really like a method to card magic, right? That estimation stuff. It's its own. It's
That one flew by me too. I didn't see that.
You didn't see the ashtray load.
No.
Was
Good.
your card a cherry colored card, Adam?
It was. Yes. Very
Black
cool.
cherry?
Black
Black
cherry.
cherry.
But you know, he's playing it in such a way that you don't feel like he declared he was going to do like the ultimate Blaine and then failed.
Right.
It's breezy right up until you got it by the throat. You know what I mean? And so lot to play with there, right? When you're playing with, when you say to people, hey, what's your favorite card? You know, it's like hypothetically. Right.
And if you remember in that case, it wasn't even what's your favorite card. I think he gets to that. He handed her the deck and he was estimating where she looked. And she just ended up going for the common card, right?
No, totally. I'm just saying, I'm just talking about what we can learn from the way he's playing stuff.
Certainly.
That where he may not, you know, say you got the Queen of Hearts on the table, you're doing one of the old Dingle fan forces or something. And, you know, you see that they might have picked the Queen of Hearts or you just might be totally off. So you like throw that Queen of Hearts on the table and you cut, you know, and you've got basically a couple wild shots in the dark, you know. And how Frank Thompson used to say the line was, supposing I was asked you to name your favorite card, you know, and, you know, the point is it's like hypothetical, right? And so the whole point is they can say like 10 of spades, you could be like, perfect. We're going to use a 10 of spades for this trick. And if you get yourself into that just right, the fact that you have been way out on the wire just becomes like a non-issue. You know what I mean? And you just move on to the other thing. You know, and if you can do that, you can start taking wild, outlandish guesses. And what ends up happening is because there's no heat on it, because you don't care, because you got your club deck and your red, blue double backer right there, actual heat being off of you, or any red, blue double backer, but the heat being off of you means you start hitting. Like as soon as you don't need it, they start saying what you want. It's a weird, all right?
I imagine it's a lot like being a tightrope walker. Once that net is there, right, you probably feel more confident. I can fall. It doesn't matter. Just don't fall.
Not free solo.
Well, that's a whole different beast, isn't it? That gives me sweaty palms watching that guy doing all that free solo stuff. That's crazy stuff.
That's a
different kind of conversation.
That's a rock formation of a different color.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. And knowing you as well as I do now on that last trick here with the mentally selected cards and so forth, let's try something a little different, okay? I want you just to look at the faces of the cards and get one.
Okay.
Have you got it?
Yeah.
Okay, what I'll attempt to do is just with my sensitive fingertips, I'll try to cut to it. 3 of hearts?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I miss it by 1? Ace of clubs?
That's it.
Oh, good. Shoot. Fantastic. Oh, I did it again. I got lucky. I really did.
I picked that one too.
Oh, did you? Yeah. You guys got to work teams.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Fantastic. All right. All right, in this case, I'll tell you what I want you to do, Virginia. Instead of just looking at a card, just think of one. Any card out of 52.
Okay.
Have you got it? Not the ace of spades, because that's a very common thought of card.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so don't pick that one.
Shoot
You got
for
one?
it again.
Okay, let me give it a shot.
Good.
Red card?
No.
Okay. She's going to be tough. I'll lay one on the table. Name your card.
Ace of clubs.
Oh, the ace of clubs? Well, it's like we had on the ace of spades last time. Any particular reason why you picked the ace of clubs? You like aces. You play cards much, don't you?
Some.
Poker?
No.
Strip? No, I'm just kidding. If that's the ace of clubs, what you think that's a pretty good trick?
I think it was a fantastic.
Turn it up. Let's see if we got lucky.
Crazy.
Yeah. Oh, queens are wild. Yeah.
Oh,
No, they really are. Queens are wild. Watch the queen. Now, watch the queen. Just a little snap
It's
like
really,
this, and sometimes it looks like the ace. Isn't that fun? All right. Okay. We're going to give you a souvenir.
Get out.
Okay, we'll give you a souvenir. Tell you what. Reach in, Lee. Take out any card you like. Now, if it's a picture card or face card, you may exchange it. Is it a good card? Good card. Good card. All right. Look, show it around. Hold it up high. Let them all see it. Now, so you won't forget it, I want you to put your name on the face of the card. Okay?
That's a ballpoint pen.
All right. Very good. So you won't
That's all he
forget
had.
the card. I want you to hold on to
all
it
he
for
had.
a second
That's all
here.
they had at the bar.
Now, in this case, I want to, first of all, set it back in the pack here. And the only way I'm going to be able to know it's specifically yours is because it's got your initials on it, right?
The video shoot.
Oh, your name. That's correct. Yeah, I'm right. Your name. I didn't check to see if it had initials or name. But anyway, I'll have to trust you on that, Lee. Okay? This guy's real thorough over here, isn't he? Yes. Yeah, that's what I said. Anyway. Now, Dale, I'll tell you what I want you to do here is to concentrate on your card. And what I'm going to do is, first of all, is attempt to locate it. First of all is this. You didn't select the king of diamonds. There's no initials. I know you didn't, right? Or the bottom card? Okay, so in this case, kings and twos are wild in this trick. Thank God for that. Now, I happen to have with me a couple of rubber bands, and I also have a thumbtack in here. Okay.
Is he about to do what I think he's going to do?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Classic.
And without the
Got
shakedown.
the thumbtack. We'll set that right.
Last, yeah,
right,
no shake.
Right. No shakedown. We'll explain what that is in a second.
AC Wagner and his stretch goals.
There we go.
Oh,
Now,
he
I need to
shakes them
borrow a
down.
dollar. Have you got a dollar?
No, he does.
You get, well, sure, 5, 10, 100, doesn't make any difference to me. I don't mind it. Yeah, there you go. Oh, he's got a $100 bill. Fantastic. All right. By the way, Dale, the turtleneck on Franklin wasn't in season, but we'll let it go this time. No problem.
Only you would know.
What I'm going to do is this. I'm going to put the rubber bands around the pack, first of all, okay, which is encases the cards like this, as you can see. And then we put the thumbtack up like so. All right? And then what we do is we take your $100 bill and we place it just like so around the pack. That encases everything so that I can't do anything funny and so forth, okay? Now, I want to call your attention, if I may, to the ceiling right up there. Can you see it up there okay? All right. Now, in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the deck up in the air. Your money is going to stay up there, and hopefully your card's going to be right on the money.
I'd rather the card step.
Oh, well, so would I, you know, but I'm not as good as you guys. But let's give it a shot here. All right, ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. There's your card. There's your money right up on top of the seal. I don't believe it. Thanks very much, sir, for the donation here. All right, all right.
Oh, look at the look on his face right there.
He's like,
Oh.
I don't see a ladder.
Like he literally, it's like he's coming to the realization right here. Just watch his face.
I don't believe it. Thanks very much, sir, for the donation here and so forth. All right.
Oh, he's like,
All right. Okay, real good. Well, hi, Terry. How are you?
Fine.
All right. We got there was a guy
No.
sitting here before we got his $100 on the ceiling here, so I'm glad.
Wow. That's like more cold-blooded than Doc's method.
It is.
Right, because Doc's like, you got to pay up if you want to see the card go up. And JC's like, let me borrow a huge bill. Oops.
don't have a ladder.
Don't lend me shit unless it's a gift.
Well, all
Am I
right,
missing
look,
something, or is that really that's
No, that was-
it, right?
that was
That's definitely how it played on the video. Who knows what he does in real life? I would imagine that they're probably with him a little bit more if he's in a bar, because that was definitely a cold audience that he was warming up as he went along. Right? They were not the ideal spectators for bar magic, which was probably shot at 1 PM. So I mean, what are you gonna do?
And I sort of picture that JC's bread and butter was that. I always picture that, like, these opportunities, these magic islands, these magic castle bars, these special show bar things are really the exception. And most of the time, JC was waking up, winding up people that were hanging out at a bar, doing some commercial magic. You know what I mean? I feel like that was his bread and meat.
Agreed.
And butter.
And butter.
all right. So
There's,
does he have a finale now? I mean, are we about to see the finale?
It's not. See, I feel like this whole thing is just like a series of tricks. I don't feel like it's a show like we normally talk about these things where it's, he's got a closer. It's like he's just doing tricks, and at any moment he could walk away and like go pour a drink. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think all of them sort of feel like closers in that sense that he could just walk away from them. But I think we're probably moving into the last trick of this particular set that's put together here.
I see. Because that actually seemed to me like that would have been the good night folks moment.
Right. And it probably was. You saw that they switched spectators, right? So they probably did end it there when they shot the thing live. It's just
We've also been raised to believe that that's the ending. It's like the cups and balls. It's like one of the 2 or 3 like known bar magic last tricks, right? Remember that old Danny Corum line, that terrible line? You may laugh, but you may cry. But you just kissed $100 goodbye.
He thought about that and he worked it out. There it is.
No, the story was, man, John Rockenbarber told me the story, is that Danny Corum was telling him he went in for a meeting with the president of General Electric for the biggest opportunity ever, right? And he said, let me borrow $100 bill, right? And the guy's like, ding, and he folds it up and he unfolds it and it's a 1 and he hands it back to Jack Welch or somebody. And he goes, you may laugh and you may cry, but you just kissed $99. Goodbye.
Whoa, buddy. Whoa. That's sort of like folks in music that can't sing, like tone deaf. That's like what the equivalent of that in magic?
The man had a book called Corum Without Limits.
Right. He is.
And now I think we know what it means. He had Corum Without Limits. Right. Danny Corum, no limit.
Ouch.
Can you imagine, y'all? I mean, it's the kind of thing that we remember.
I always thought if you're trying to make an
Where
impression, you pay the $100 and you do the opposite. Can I borrow $1? Look, make it into 100. That's it.
Yeah, you're thinking about a whole different kind of universe, bro.
Ouch.
You may laugh and you may cry, but I just kissed this opportunity.
Right. That's pretty much what happened, isn't it?
You're like,
Whoa.
all right. I always wonder, this always reminds me, like, Kostya has that great trick where your license plate, like, appears at the end of the show.
Yeah, right.
But you just sort of wonder, like, if someone feels a little bit, like, what's the word, invaded or something.
Molested. Yeah.
It's like, so. I mean, it's like, I forget, was it Michael Amar or something, the old bit, like, you make the salt shaker disappear and it's gone, and then the person goes back to the hotel room, the salt is like on the,
right,
you were the last guy out of the hotel room or whatever.
Right. It's Paul Gertner's bit. Totally. He'd pay off the guy in the hotel to do it. Right. It's a
Yeah,
little bit,
I just wonder how creepy that might be, you know?
it
I mean, that
probably
would
does
definitely
feel like a
creep-
violation.
Yeah, that would creep me out.
Like, don't you guys, haven't we talked about how some of these phone apps kind of feel a little bit like you Russian hack my phone, Mr. Magic?
Yeah. A little bit too much. Yeah.
It's like the time you put that spider on my hand. Yes, Steve?
No, no. I was just gonna say, like that kind of a thing. You immediately go to like somebody was in my room, right, or somebody, and that I think that is what makes it like not an effective way to go about it.
Mhm.
Not so much the creep factor is what I'm trying to get at.
Oh no, it's creep factor. I
It's
mean,
creep
someone's invading your space, right? Someone's crossed the line and made it part of the show, and that's definitely, you know, that's an element that's going to make people uncomfortable.
Yeah, and the problem is magic, it can be creepy enough. People have to work with how to process magic already.
Right.
So we have to be like cooling out anything that could, you know, add to that. This I enjoyed. I would watch more JC Wagner just doing his thing.
Well, let's do it. You know, today.
Next time though, right?
Yeah, next time. Let's find some more JC Wagner.
Get some more. I'll put some more together, and we can keep going.